wondered how your body saves water even when you're not drinking enough? Think about it. Sometimes you drink very little, yet your body manages to survive without drying out. How? And where does the body get this extra efficiency from? Well, inside your kidneys, something very fascinating is happening every second. Two fluids are flowing in the opposite direction. They never mix, yet they continuously interact. This opposite flow of fluid actually creates a powerful concentration gradient, so precise, so efficient that it can pull water back into your body drop by drop. But here is the real question. How does the difference of flow create a huge difference? And what is this hidden mechanism which protects you from dehydration every single day? Hello everyone, I am Komal and today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is counter current mechanism. So what is counter current mechanism? A mechanism in which fluid or filtrate is moving in opposite direction in loop of Henle and vasa recta to produce hyperosmotic or concentrated urine to conserve water inside your body. Okay, now this mechanism is actually happening in the nephrons of the kidney, of course, and the nephrons which are responsible for taking out this process or this mechanism are juxtamedullary nephrons. Yes, the nephrons with the longer length of loop of Henle are responsible for carrying out this mechanism, that is counter current mechanism. Now, my dear students, if I talk about this mechanism, have two steps or two processes. One is counter current multiplier, which actually produces or actually creates the concentration gradient, which eventually will produce hyperosmotic urine. Another step or another process of this mechanism is counter current exchanger, which only helps to maintain the concentration gradient in the interstitium fluid of kidney. Right? So we have two steps or two processes of this mechanism. Let's discuss the first one, that is counter current multiplier. Now, as you can see the diagram of nephron on the board, here we have the Bowman's capsule. Next region to the Bowman's capsule is PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. Next region to the PCT is loop of Henle, right? This is the descending limb of loop of Henle and this is the ascending limb of loop of Henle. After this, you have another convoluted tubule in the nephron, that is DCT, distal convoluted tubule, and the last or foremost portion of the nephron is collecting tubule or collecting duct. Right? Now let's see how actually concentrated urine is produced inside the nephrons. Right? Now before moving ahead, you know that we have two regions in the kidney, the cortical region and the medullary region. As you also can see in the diagram, the peripheral region of the kidney is known as cortical region of the kidney and the inner region of the kidney is known as medullary region of the kidney. Right? Now, in the cortical region of the kidney and in the medullary region of the kidney, the concentration gradient actually varies, right? In the cortical region, you will find 300 milliosmol per liter of osmolarity. As you move down in the medullary region, the concentration gradient will vary from 600 to 900 to 1200 milliosmol per liter. We are talking about the osmolarity difference in cortical region and in the medullary regions of the kidney. Now see, we have nephron lies in the both regions of the kidney. The portion of nephron, the Bowman's capsule, the PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, the DCT, distal convoluted tubule, some portion of collecting duct as well lies in the cortical region of the kidney, whereas loop of Henle completely lies in the medullary region of the kidney. Now see what is happening. When the filtrate is coming down, first of all, when the filtrate is actually in the cortical region in the PCT tubule, PCT region of the nephron, you will find that the osmolarity of that filtrate will be 300 milliosmol per liter. But when it goes down in the descending limb of loop of Henle, which is lying in the region of medullary part of the kidney, the concentration will get changed, right? How? See, this portion, the descending limb of loop of Henle is permeable to water. What does that mean? That means water will move out from this blood or this filtrate to the interstitium fluid of the kidney. This portion, descending limb of loop of Henle, is permeable to water because of the channels present there. What are these channels are called as aqua, right? So aquaporin channels are present only in the descending limb of loop of Henle, through which water will move out from the descending limb of loop of Henle to the interstitium fluid of the kidney. All right. Now, as this fluid or as this filtrate is moving down in the medullary region or in the descending loop of Henle, more and more water will move out into the interstitium fluid from the descending limb of loop of Henle along the water concentration gradient. Water will move along the concentration gradient. As we know that water will move from the higher concentration region to the region where the water concentration is low. As you all can see, the water concentration here is very low in the interstitium fluid. As you can observe the osmolarity here, which is going very high as you move down, and here the water is higher in concentration. So what will move from the higher concentration of it to the region where the concentration of water is low. Or we also can say in other terms that water will move from descending limb of loop of Henle to the interstitium fluid of the kidney according to osmolarity. That is from lower osmolarity to higher osmolarity, right? So with the help of aquaporin channels, the water will move out from the descending limb of loop of Henle to the interstitium fluid of the kidney. Now, what is important here is as you move down in the descending limb of loop of Henle, water is moving out, the concentration of the fluid, the concentration of the filtrate will change. As the water is moving out, the solute concentration will increase in the filtrate, thus changing the concentration, thus changing the osmolarity. As it moves down, the osmolarity will change for approximately like 400, then it will become 600, then it will become 800, 900, 1000, and finally it will be similar to the osmolarity of the interstitium fluid, like 1200 milliosmol per liter when it comes to the base of the loop of Henle, right? As you know that water is moving out, of course, the water is moving out, the osmolarity will increase. As the filtrate is moving down to the base, the osmolarity is continuously increasing from 300 milliosmol per liter to 400, 600, 800, and then finally becomes 1200, which is exactly similar to the interstitium fluid osmolarity, right? This is about the descending limb of loop of Henle. Now, let's see, when this fluid or this filtrate is actually moving in the ascending limb of loop of Henle, what is happening? Now, this portion, the ascending limb of loop of Henle, is not permeable to water. Thus, water is not going to move out of it, right? Then what will happen? As this fluid is moving towards the DCT, or the fluid is moving upward in the ascending limb of loop of Henle, the ions and solute will move out of this. The ions and solute will move out of the ascending limb of loop of Henle to the interstitium fluid of the kidney. This region is impermeable to water, thus water cannot move out of it, but this region or ascending limb of loop of Henle is permeable to some solutes and ions. So from this region, from this ascending limb of loop of Henle, NaCl will be removed out of this fluid to the interstitium fluid of the kidney, right? Now, as we know that from the fluid, the NaCl or the solute is moving out, obviously the concentration will go down, the osmolarity will decrease. So from 1200 it will decrease like this, 1000, then it will become 800, 600, then again 400, and as it moves further it will become 300 milliosmol per liter again, right? Now, when this fluid or this filtrate moves into the DCT region, distal convoluted tubule region, further NaCl will remove out of the DCT region into the cortical region of the kidney, making the urine more dilute, right? When it is moving, the fluid or the filtrate is moving into the DCT region, the osmolarity will become 200, that is diluted urine, right? So this is the osmolarity here in the DCT region of the fluid or the filtrate. That means the urine is not concentrated. Now, observe two situations. One situation is when your body does not have the abundant amount of water, or there is a scarcity of water in your body. What will happen? There is a hormone called ADH, anti-diuretic hormone, or we can call it as vasopressin. This hormone is synthesized in hypothalamus and is released or secreted by posterior pituitary gland. Now, this ADH hormone or anti-diuretic hormone in the condition of scarcity of water will act on the collecting tubule. Now, as a result, in the scarcity of water, more and more water will be reabsorbed from collecting tubule or collecting duct in your body. Right? So what is happening in the first condition, when the fluid, when this diluted urine, this diluted filtrate is moving in the collecting duct, first condition, when there is a scarcity of water, ADH hormone is releasing, and because of this ADH hormone, more and more water is removing out, more and more water is removing out. So what will happen when the more and more water is removing out of the collecting tubule from the filtrate to the interstitium fluid of the kidney? What will happen? Of course, the concentration gradient again will change. The osmolarity will again increases and thus produces hyperosmotic or concentrated urine. Right? Now, from this region, when the filtrate is moving down here in the collecting tubule further, more NaCl will remove out, more urea will also remove out of this portion of the collecting duct. Right? So this is how what is actually happening in the descending limb of loop of Henle. Water is removing out from the tubule of the nephron, that is from descending limb of loop of Henle into the interstitium fluid of the kidney, making the filtrate hyperosmotic. Now this hyperosmotic urine or hyperosmotic filtrate is when moving into the ascending limb of loop of Henle. It is now again becoming diluted because more NaCl is removing out from the ascending limb of loop of Henle. This portion is not permeable to water and is permeable to some ions and solute. After that, when it becomes dilute, it will come into the collecting duct, and when the ADH is released, because your body is fighting with the stress of water, ADH hormone will released from the posterior pituitary gland and will act on the collecting tubule, resulting in the more and more release of water molecules from it, right? And vice versa. In the next situation, if your body have abundant amount of water, what will happen? The ADH will not release in that much amount, and the water will not reabsorb this much, thus producing diluted urine, not hyperosmotic urine. In that case, when the water is abundantly present in your body, the urine will be produced hypoosmotic or diluted urine. But when the body is having scarcity of water, when the body is facing scarcity of water, the more and more water will reabsorb from here, from this region, collecting tubule, and thus producing hyperosmotic or concentrated urine. So this is how you make your body, or actually nephrons make concentration gradient, right? And concentrated urine to conserve water inside your body, making you undehydrate, or basically protect your body from dehydration. So this portion we have actually discussed is a counter current multi. Now, how does this concentration gradient actually is maintained, right? See, another step is counter current exchanger. Now you can see this is the red colored tubule around the loop of Henle. This tubule is nothing but the vasa recta. Now what is vasa recta? Is the huge capillary network around the loop of Henle, which actually acts as an exchanger, right? And helps in the maintaining the gradient, concentration gradient in the interstitium fluid of the kidney, right? So let's see what is happening. The NaCl dumped into the interstitium fluid, the NaCl dumped from the ascending limb of loop of Henle into the interstitium fluid will be absorbed by the vasa recta, will be absorbed by the vasa recta here, will be absorbed by the vasa recta. This is the descending limb of vasa recta, and this is the ascending limb of vasa recta. When the blood is flowing into the descending limb of vasa recta, this NaCl dumped into the interstitium fluid by ascending limb of loop of Henle is absorbed into this fluid in the vasa recta. This NaCl will go into the descending limb of the vasa recta, thus increasing the concentration of blood here, thus increasing the concentration of blood or fluid here, right? The concentration in the vasa recta is increasing as the blood is moving down into the descending limb of the vasa recta. Now, when this blood is flowing upward into the ascending limb of vasa recta, what happens? This NaCl again is dumped into the interstitial fluid here, right? Again is dumped into the interstitium fluid here. NaCl is dumped again into the interstitium fluid from the ascending limb of vasa recta. So you can see the exchange is happening between loop of Henle and vasa recta. Exchange of NaCl is happening between the loop of Henle and vasa recta, which actually maintains the concentration gradient into the interstitial fluid of the kidney, right? So this was the counter current multiplier, which was keep on increasing the concentration, which was keep on increasing the osmolarity of the filtrate to produce hyperosmotic urine, and to maintain the concentration gradient in the interstitial fluid of the kidney. What is helping? The vasa recta is helping. It takes all the NaCl from the interstitial fluid here, which was dumped by the ascending limb of the loop of Henle, and it will dump all these NaCl again into the interstitial fluid of the kidney here in this region to maintain the concentration gradient. So this is the counter current mechanism actually is. Also, only mammals have the ability to produce concentrated urine. And the last but not least, human kidneys can produce urine nearly 4 times concentrated than the initial filtrate was for. That's all for today.